everybody, this is Donnie with Pvgna.com. Thank you so much for tuning in today on the final day of 2017. Some of you may even be joining us from 2018, so thank you for tuning in as well. 2018 is going to be an awesome year for Dota, I believe, and we're going to try and start it off the right way by giving you guys as much content as we possibly can here on YouTube in the form of videos, as well as our Facebook, our Twitter, and our Instagram accounts. So if you haven't already, give our channel a subscribe, follow us on social media, and we'll try and give you guys as much content as we possibly can so you can reach your New Year's resolutions of whatever medal or MMR you want to get to, or learning new heroes, or whatever your goals might be. So with that being said, let's get into the video, which is going to be on how to teamfight as Juggernaut. And as you're watching this, I hope that you realize you can apply this approach to teamfighting to any hero that you might play and any role that you might play. I want to teach you guys how to look at a teamfight, how to analyze it in your replay, and break down what you could have done better and how you should be prioritizing various things, your spells, your items, and who you target as well. The most important thing when you are playing a game is to kind of have a plan for what's going to happen. In this particular game, we have to look at the heroes that they have. If Death Prophet is dead, then most of the control is going to come from Dark Willow. Dark Willow has a root, she has a stun, she has a bunch of magic damage and a fear. So Dark Willow is going to be kind of the most important hero to key on in this particular fight, and really in this particular game. Yes, Pudge has Dismember. Juggernaut won't take any damage if he's Blade Furying while Pudge is dismembering him. Juggernaut runs up into the jungle, he sees Pudge, and he immediately Omni Slashes when he realizes that there are three heroes here. I would like to sort of put the idea out that maybe Juggernaut should have just spun instead of Omni Slashing right off the bat. Why? Spin would cancel the Cursed Crown that was put on Juggernaut. It would allow him to fairly safely reposition himself because the root would not work, the fear would not work. If Pudge goes ahead and dismembers Juggernaut, then that's another disable wasted without doing any damage. Yeah, Huskar would be able to hit the Juggernaut over and over, but the Burning Spears, since they're magical, they would actually do no damage, and Life Break would also do no damage. So while that fight turned out okay, they lost Spirit Breaker, they killed Huskar, I just wanted to point out that there's actually a more efficient way to take this fight, where if Juggernaut just goes ahead and spins, then he's able to, run up here, or he could even target Pudge, he could do damage to Pudge, and save his Omni Slash for a better target, like the Huskar. In this case, I think that spinning to avoid the Dismember damage and cancel the Cursed Crown is probably the correct play without getting stunned, without having to use Omni Slash, and then allow his team to take a fight on slightly better terms. Alright, so the next fight that we're going to look at, they see Huskar, they see Pudge, there's an invisibility rune, and they charge in at the Huskar. I think this is a fairly optimistic fight. However, Juggernaut does have Omni Slash. So when Pudge comes out of invisibility to dismember him, and they try to burst the Juggernaut. However, Juggernaut gets out of Dismember and Omni Slashes immediately, which is the correct use of Omni Slash in this case, and it nets them 2 kills. That's a good example of when you want to use Omni Slash right away, whereas the first example was using Omni Slash too early. When you know that there's no escapes, when you know that you can use Omni Slash to survive a situation that you would otherwise die in, and when you have 2 enemy heroes close together like this, both without any sort of mobility items, it's a great time to just pop the Omni Slash, get the fight over with. So Pudge comes out of invisibility and eats the Necrophos. Juggernaut immediately turns around, sees Dark Willow. I think that running up this hill is a little bit sketchy, given that you don't have your Manta, but the Manta is coming on Courier, so that's good. It's good timing. But this Necrophos is in trouble. CM is pretty far away. So this fight is pretty scary. I think that one option is definitely to just turn around and run. Necrophos does have Blade Mail, he's got a lot of health, he's got Reapers. I think that you guys can also take this fight. So it's kind of a judgment call. You could either take this fight or you could run. I think taking this fight is fine. He gets silenced, uses Manta pretty quickly to get the silence off, which is good, and then hits the Death Prophet enough times to make her Yules herself. There's a bunch of creeps around, and that's very important to notice. I think there's too many creeps around to use Omni Slash. As soon as this Yules happens, I think that you should change your target to this Pudge who's pretty close by. If you just run at Pudge now, there's a very good chance that you get Pudge below half health while this Yules is happening. Necrophos ults the Pudge, and then you can take a 2-on-2 fight with Necrophos having a massive regen advantage, and then you still have Omni Slash, you've got Healing Word. So I think if you kill this Pudge right now, you probably win this fight. Instead, you go ahead and use Omni Slash on the Pudge, in the middle of a bunch of creeps. Like I said, I think you can kill Pudge with Necrophos together, just hitting him, and you would still have Omni Slash to deal with what else might come into this fight. Instead, Omni Slashing in the middle of creeps means that you're actually reducing the amount of damage that you're doing to all the enemy heroes. And while this Omni Slash does turn out pretty well, you get some nice bounces back to the Pudge, you end up killing him, and then you bounce to Dark Willow, which is nice, and end up killing Dark Willow too. Remember, this particular video, I want you to be not results oriented. This fight turns out fine. But I think that you could probably do this fight better, and that's the most important thing to focus on. Don't look at your replays with the results of the fight in mind. Look at them from a totally objective perspective of whether you are using the correct skills and the correct items at the correct times. So I don't think that that was a good Omni Slash. It turned out well, but I don't think that was when you should have Omni Slash, and I think that was a big mistake. So now Huskar shows up, he BKBs, he goes on Necrophos, drop the healing ward as soon as possible, and then focus the Huskar. CM kind of covers the Necrophos' retreat, so a little bit late on the healing ward, he ends up going down. Again, right here, if you had saved your Omni Slash, yes, Dark Willow and Pudge might be alive, but also now you are here fighting this Huskar without Omni Slash, and Huskar is one of the best targets to Omni Slash. Who knows what would have exactly happened if you didn't Omni Slash and get those nice bounces and kill the Dark Willow and the Pudge. But I think that if you had just focused the Pudge with right clicks and Necro had ulted him, then you could have probably focused down Death Prophet next and the Dark Willow next, and then dealt with Huskar after that. Now, I think right here, you should actually, you got to be microing your healing ward for sure, but you should probably be kiting a little bit farther back into CM's ulti instead of just man-fighting this Huskar, because that'll give a higher chance of shards hitting this Huskar once his BKB wears off, and will also keep you from eating so many spears, which you get up to 8 stacks, and then you spin away. So again, remember, we're being not results oriented, because what ends up happening is you run away, Huskar comes in, and then his BKB wears off, Spirit Breaker charges in, and you end up killing him. But the point is, I think the Omni Slashing right off the bat there when you aren't really in trouble is the biggest mistake and the thing that we want to look at in this particular fight. Juggernaut and Spirit Breaker find a Death Prophet TPing into this fountain. That's great. So they go on the Death Prophet, and I think that this is perfect. Spirit Breaker charges, you start hitting. I think that's kind of a weird use of the Diffusal Blade since she's getting stunned and is already stunned anyway, but that's okay. And Death Prophet's about to get bursted down. Now you see Pudge TPing in, but Death Prophet's almost dead. Okay, at this point, you end up kind of just standing around waiting for this Yules to end, waiting for Pudge to TP in. I think at this point you should be hitting these creeps. Kill these creeps. Because remember, at some point, assuming that more heroes show up, you're going to want to Omni Slash. And right now, if you Omni Slash, there's a very good chance you're going to end up bouncing to these creeps. So you need to just be killing these creeps. There's nothing else for you to do. You can't attack the Death Prophet. Pudge is not there yet. Kill these creeps, and your Omni Slash will be infinitely more effective. Instead, we wait for a Death Prophet to drop, end up getting the kill, so that's great. And thankfully, these creeps end up kind of retreating. But again, now, even if you were to Omni Slash this Pudge, there's a good chance that you will bounce to this creep, and that's definitely not something that you want to have happen. You attack Pudge, he knows that Huskar's coming, you see Huskar coming, you see Dark Willow coming in. I think your Manta there is fine to discourage him from trying to eat you. And focusing Pudge is great because you're all here. So now I think this is a perfect usage of Omni Slash. You see the fear coming in. Huskar's already used his jump. Pudge is low. There are no creeps around. You end up Omni Slashing the Huskar, bouncing to Pudge, killing Pudge, bouncing back to Huskar, bouncing to Dark Willow, and getting some nice bounces and killing her. Then you drop your healing ward, put it behind a tree, which I saw this little trick. You put it behind the tree right here so Huskar couldn't kill it, and end up focusing him down. So I think that was a well-executed fight, but I, again, want this to be a not results-oriented video. I think that killing those creeps, while you have the opportunity and there's nothing else to do, would make you even more efficient in this fight. And that's the most important thing. This entire video, I just want to focus on the maximum efficiency, making the absolute best play you possibly can. Not just making a passably good one or one that happened to work out. I want you to actually think about how these fights are going and look at every single little detail and get those details to be perfect. You know, you don't have to make perfect plays. Nobody makes perfect plays every single time. But if you notice these little mistakes or these little inefficiencies, and then you continue to play and you continue to look and notice these when you are reviewing your replays or in your own games, you know, if you take a fight and you realize, oh, that was kind of stupid that I used that item there. When you start to do that on a regular basis, you will stop making those and you'll continue to make better and better decisions which will make you a better and better player. I think it's important to have that sort of objective lens of looking at the game, because as you improve as a player, you will come up against people who are making better and better decisions. So your decisions need to get better and better. And if you just kind of allow things to happen and look at the results of things, maybe you didn't actually make a good play, but it just worked out well. As we kind of saw in that bottom fight where the Omni Slash happened in the middle of a bunch of creeps, and yet the bounces were excellent and killed 2 heroes. That might not happen in every single game, and as you climb up the ladder, that Dark Willow might still have Shadow Realm available, or might have itemized differently to not die to that Omni Slash. And then it becomes an entirely different game without that double kill. So the 2 biggest things that I want you to take away from this video are, 1, have a plan, and even at the very beginning of the game, make a plan objectively. What are the most important heroes to deal with in every single fight that I'm going to be taking this game? If you have that idea, then you will have less kind of mistakes where you're just reacting to the situation and just kind of hitting buttons. If you have an idea of how you want to take the fights and how you want to target and use your abilities for various purposes, then you will make less mistakes in the long run. The second thing that I want you to remember is that when you're analyzing your games, look at it objectively. Even if the result of the game was good, even if the result of the fight was good, there are probably some things that you did in the moment that could be improved upon. And if you look at the fights and look at those very, very small details and continually think about those, then you will consistently make better and better decisions, which will allow you to grow as a player and take on better competition who are also making those better decisions. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this kind of content, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you would like to see more videos like this. And if you haven't already, join our Discord server. This video came out of a conversation that we had this afternoon, and I thought it was kind of a cool way to come up with a video idea, is interacting with one of our users who had a question, and then it just turned into a good idea for a video. So join us on Discord, follow us on our social media channels. Thanks again for tuning in. Happy 2018. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you next time.